Well, good morning, and I'm John Mark Staude, the President and CEO of Riverside Resources. It's wonderful to be here with all of you today. Riverside is a prospect generator exploration company working a lot in Canada, and a forward-looking statement that I'm quite an enthusiastic CEO, so please do your own research. Riverside is doing a lot of drilling right now, drilling with partners. We use the OPM model, other people's money model, and we've been able to do that generating royalties, not by buying them, but actually through the exploration over the last 17 years. We have some self-funded growth, and with that self-funded growth, we've expanded extensively into Canada, both in Ontario and in British Columbia over the last half a decade, acquiring diverse portfolio of projects, rare earth elements, gold, copper, silver, and doing work with partners, for example, drilling today. The picture on the right taken last night as we're drilling right now with our partner Fortuna Mining at our Cecilia project, looking forward to the catalyst of drill results. Right now, the opportunity for investors is the drilling with Fortuna. Also, we recently announced an acquisition, or actually an option out from Riverside with a partner on our Union project in Mexico. That helps us to have completed quite a bit of farming out of most of our properties in Mexico. In the past, we actually share split and dividended to our shareholders the Capitan silver assets, and that moves ahead as well. And Riverside's retained royalties in all the different projects we've done, building up a royalty portfolio. In Ontario, we've had a lot of fun over the last 5 years working along the Geraldton Greenstone Belt and have acquired 3 key assets in that. And Riverside has created a new company, Blue Jay Resources, that's inside of Riverside. But that company is now moving ahead with Riverside. As well, we have a robust cash position with over $5 million. That's not from financing. That's actually been from different transactions from sale of our assets, retaining royalties, for example, being paid through our transaction with Fresnillo Mining and other companies. We have no warrants and no debt. So if you look at our share structure, it's amazing. After 17 years, having only 75 million shares out, we have no warrants out there, and we have a good share base with over 40% European shareholders. We really appreciate as well Adrian Day, Rick Rule, Sprott, and as well as North America institutional holders of the corporation. If you look at our portfolio, we actually have British Columbia, we have Ontario, and we have projects in Mexico. The gold is actually the royalties that we've been able to develop over the last 17 years, and our focus right now is moving ahead in Ontario. The team, we've worked in Ontario quite a bit and had chances to work in other jurisdictions, and with Freeman Smith, the VP of Exploration, formerly a president of a company, working in Ontario and working with local teams there has been great. Cruz Pais recently joined us, and it's wonderful to have him on the team leading the program in Mexico, particularly the drilling with Fortuna, and now the additional deal with Union Mine. So Riverside, the Ontario advantage. Most importantly is location. Being so close to the Equinox-owned gold mine by Greenstone Gold that's in Geraldton, just outside of Thunder Bay, Ontario, right along the Trans-Canada Highway. Great location, and Riverside having high-grade mineralization on the east and west of the mine allows us to be exploring in a known district where over $8 million has been spent in the past, and Riverside ourselves have been doing drilling and exploring, and now with the company Blue Jay, we're set up to do very well on these 3 assets, Pichette, Oaks, and the Duck project. When you look at Pichette, it's our lead asset, high grades, next to the Beardmore district that produced over 1 million ounces in less than 1 million tons. That means operating at greater than 1 ounce per ton. Very high grade. That's the exact type of thing that could feed into the operations of Equinox that are operating at 1.4 grams per ton. So it really helps to have high grade feed on both the east and west of the mine complex. When we look at Pichette overall, we're very excited by this project. It's part of us building a whole portfolio. As we build this portfolio up in Pichette, what we've done is been able to make sure we're getting the right projects to move ahead, and that's awesome. A second thing we do is work on rare earth elements. We're concerned actually about what the future looks like with the ability of China to control different commodities and perhaps North America needing to have supplies, particularly supplies that are accessible. So we're working in road accessible areas, places that you can get to, and building out a portfolio in British Columbia. The portfolio of nice, good, easily accessible, quality carbonatite, rare earth element projects. As well, in British Columbia, we've been doing gold projects in southern British Columbia. The gold projects in southern British Columbia are adjacent to the mine that Kinross has operated at Buckhorn. Over 4 million ounces of gold production there, and Riverside having a very nice portfolio in British Columbia, both of rare earth elements and of gold. When we go south, we go to Mexico. There are 3 different aspects of Mexico that we're forwarding right now. First is the Cecilia Project. The Cecilia Project has underground, high-grade, exciting gold potential. Riverside just started last night with the drilling. We put out the news release this week. We're able to be going for breccia zones. These type of breccias are large, very rich, and very good potential. The San Agustin mine, operated by Peñoles, is one of the great mines in Mexico, and these similar breccia pipes adjacent to domes. Dome geology, like you have at Yanacocha, like you have in different parts of Peru and Bolivia, and in Mexico, make the Cecilia Project quite exciting. Partner funding is wonderful. Working currently with Fortuna Mining, spending over $1.5 million, spending it on the drilling in the ground, and Riverside being the operator, getting a 10% fee for managing that project and staffing up and doing the project, moves ahead the portfolio of Riverside without diluting Riverside. A second project we like a lot is carbonate replacement systems. Mexico is known for high-grade carbonate replacement systems. Carbonate replacement systems in Mexico have consistently produced large amounts of silver as well as other metals, and recently in Arizona, large transactions at the Hermosa project, large transactions around in southern Arizona are similar geology, similar style to what we have at the Union project. So at Union, it's on private land, we have mineral title, we have the permits able to move ahead with a very robust exploration project. The access, again, is drive-up access, so no helicopters, not remote, very easy to develop. It's underground. Following up on the past mines were able to go on mantos and chimneys down underground, and we're able to rapidly explore that and expand that. So Riverside has been working for underground targets in Mexico, working on our projects. The third project, Ariel, is a nice porphyry copper district. When you're at the Ariel project, you look across the valley and you see the Nacazari mine. You see Nacazari mine, the second largest mining complex for copper in all of Mexico. Mexico, one of the top 10 copper producers of the planet. And there we are at the Ariel project, and it has not yet even seen drilling, and yet we own that project and recently expanded that project. Riverside, over the last year, has been acquiring projects. As things have gotten difficult for other people, Riverside, having cash, having not needed to finance, has been able to deploy that cash to consolidate great districts. We've consolidated at Cecilia, we've consolidated Union, and at Ariel. So we've been consolidating during the last year, and now it's a great time to be moving ahead toward 2025. So when we look directly at the Cecilia project, Fortuna's Mining and Riverside together have a good deal. We are glad to be the joint venture or option partner at this point, and potentially in the future joint venture, but working with Fortuna, a great partner. They're an operator. They're mining in Mexico. They operate underground. They've had the ability to operate very efficiently and effectively for years underground in Mexico. So partnering with them is a great way to us to move ahead the Cecilia project. And we expect to have news flow in the coming 2 weeks and in the coming 2 months, or continuing the drilling, the process of making a discovery and expanding 3 different targets out of overall 10 targets at the Cecilia project. The Cecilia project overall, we have title on over 60 square kilometers of property. We've put that all together with 7 different mineral deals over time, so it's a really nice district to have. When we look here at the drilling, we can see here the geology. The pink is some of the correct units, a rhyolitic unit. The little lines you see there are some of the samples that we have. As we spin this around, we'll look at where the drill holes are going. We'll see we have two types of drilling. We first have some nice deeper drilling. The nice deeper drilling we're going to is in the top of the dome. As we drill into the dome, those longer deep holes there are over 800-meter holes. Going down to look for that big deposit, like Pitarrilla. Pitarrilla is over 800 million ounces of silver, and this is the type of target that Riverside is trying to work on. Big targets, and we have high-grade zones. We've drilled these shallowly already. Now we're going for the deeper continuity, and then a giant breccia pipe. These breccia pipes are the type of thing that make companies, that make such a big difference. And we've been doing geophysics. This in an inversion model of our magnetics, for example. We've flown magnetics both in detail and over the full 6,000 hectares. Having that large gives us a very good picture for the magnetics and the geology. The other thing Riverside has is royalties. So Riverside has projects, partnerships, has diversified into Canada, and as we've done that, we've focused on always retaining royalty. So we have a royalty with Fresnillo on the Tajitos project. That could be a very large, nice gold mine. It's close to the Noche Buena mine, close to the Herradura mine, places that Fresnillo has been operating for over 30 years, over 15 years, and potentially at Tajitos, that would be a really great mine to have, and Riverside having a 2% net smelter royalty on that. Another partnership we did was with Arizona Metals. It's been wonderful to see how well that company has done, and Riverside having a 2% royalty on the Sugarloaf Peak project. Sugarloaf Peak is a very nice porphyry copper gold system, epithermal and mesothermal gold mineralization at the surface with alteration that's had drilling. It has a historic non-compliant, non-43-101, but a drilled out resource of over 1.5 million ounces that Arizona Mining has put forth Arizona Metals has put forth the 43-101 report about, and so anyone that wants to research that can look there, as well as Capitan Silver. It's wonderful to have passed those shares from Capitan Silver to shareholders. And if we could do that again, potentially with Blue Jay, that would be amazing. We spent 5 years in Ontario, built that up, and Riverside has now structured where Riverside has a 2% royalty on the properties, and the properties are now moved into Blue Jay Resources. We have many different royalties in Riverside. So the catalyst right now, first off, is exploration in Ontario. We've continually done that, and right now today the teams are in the field. After this trip, I go to Ontario where we're continuing to do this field work, and we'll have news flow from there. Generating the portfolio in British Columbia. We've had news flow over the summer, and we'll have more news flow about rare earth elements and gold in British Columbia, using our databases and out in the field. The third thing is our partnerships. It's so great to work with Fortuna Mining. It's wonderful to have worked in the past with major companies like BHP, with so many different companies. It's been excellent, and so we're delighted to have that. And the royalties. At the end of the day, Riverside having a market cap of only $11 million, cash of over $5 million, giving us an enterprise value of just $6 million. And yet we have all of these royalties. Royalties in Mexico, royalties in the United States, royalties in Canada. So we really look forward to keeping people updated. It's great for all of you to come to the talk, and I look forward to having questions here, but also after the word. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Jean-Marc. We definitely have time for questions. Maybe I'll kick it off on your royalty portfolio. It looks very impressive. I've noticed in the past, bigger companies, when they've had royalty packages, they've sold them off to the royalty companies. I noticed a lot of royalty companies at this conference, so wondering what your thoughts are there.
Yeah, we've had a very busy schedule here, and I'm glad to be able to fit in this talk because actually it's been quite interesting, and we do have a special deck about the royalty portfolio because there is so much interest in it. We've also built a data room about our royalties. We are not running a process now. We have it as Riverside, but yeah, thank you so much for that question, and royalties are of good value, and with so many royalty companies, we are not trying to create another royalty company. We see that it makes a lot of sense to have a type of transactional event with the royalties. Thank you for that question.
Okay. guess we're getting near the end of time, so if you could join me to thank Jean-Marc for the excellent presentation.